Welcome back to Love, Life, and Legacy, the podcast dedicated to helping you navigate these hyper-sexualized times. That was my terrible 90s DJ intro. So listen, today I'm going on a massive rant. You need to hear it, okay? I have slides. If you can, try to watch this on YouTube. I made some slides for this so that you can see it as a presentation. Otherwise, just listen to it. Get all in. I would recommend not listening to this while you're doing something else, unless it's like working out and you can really focus. This is a call to arms, okay? We are so countercultural, and that's the coolest thing ever, okay? High Noon, none of us are particularly cool in our staff. We realized that a long time. When we were looking at something like Fight the New Drug, they always had the cool marketing. They had the cool website. We always optimized for sincerity, okay? But inherent within the fact that we are not going in the same direction as our hypersexualized culture, you are now a rebel. You're going countercultural, and that makes you strong. Because our culture is like on a collision course with some really dark stuff. But if you have the power to kind of withstand the urge to want to conform and instead choose the intentional path that High Noon calls you to do, to live your ideal self, to be your Chanoguk self, to be your High Noon self, not only will you be happy, but you'll be a part of the revolution that changed the course of history. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So please listen intently to this episode. And if you can't watch the video, but if not, either way, I love you. Enjoy this episode about being a countercultural revolutionary. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to give a little bit of a presentation. So if you can, I would highly advise you to watch the video. You can watch it through YouTube. If you just want to listen to it, it'll still be a banger. Don't worry. I don't throw any soft pitches, as they say, and nobody's ever said that. Just made that up. But I really wanted to talk about this. I'm really getting sick of. I've been a big proponent of going against the grain my whole life, since I was in middle school especially. That's when it became acute. And it was just because I started asking questions and I started getting in trouble. Like, why are we doing this in class? And then teachers like, what do you mean, why are we doing this? We're doing this because we got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't understand why. Because just hide under your desk, right? And so obviously it's nice to be a contrarian sometimes. It can get a little annoying for people, but I really want to plant the seed in your mind that to be a contrarian in terms of our hypersexualized culture is not only the best path for your future, but it'll make you a bit of a gangster for sure. And here's the issue. And there are so many people that are doing the right thing, but they feel bad for doing it because it's not what everybody else does. So they conform, not because what everybody else is doing is smart, but because everybody else is doing it. So why not, right? And when it comes to dating, when it comes to our hypersexualized culture, there are so few voices out here in the wilderness, in the jungle of society, that are saying anything reasonable. When you look at celebrity culture, when you look at what's going on, in social media, everything is just hypersexualized, right? And so if you're a part of the High Noon world, you're a part of not only a counterculture, you're a part of the future, because there is a clear end to this hypersexualized culture. Where does it end? It ends when people stop having babies. It ends with everybody being super alone. The trend of the correlation between how much people are watching porn and how lonely they feel is so tightly entwined that to opt out of that entirely puts you in an entirely different bracket of human being. Okay. And so I know you're working on this, and that's why you listen to us. That's why you're listening here today. That's why you're watching this video or whatever. And you're in our programs. And if not, join our programs. Saying no is the real revolution. Saying no to the hypersexualized culture is that it makes you so strong. And I want to kind of unpack this quite a bit, because you need ammunition. When you go out into this world, you need to know who you choose to be, rather than being a series of reactions between, I feel like I should do this, my conscience says go this way, and my body tells me to go this way. My loins, my sexual urges tell me to go this way. And my friends tell me to go this way. And my parents tell me to go this way. And then you just are like feeling good, bad, lonely, the whole gamut. So let me help you to unpack this new sexual revolution. This is the rebellion, okay? So porn is the new mainstream. Like unequivocally, you have to understand that maybe even 15 years ago, up until that point, porn was this skeezy, gross thing that weird people do. And when it joined the internet, when we got smartphones and things like that, it just started to literally find its way into our pockets and follow us around everywhere. But prior to that, especially in the 90s, 80s, things like that, you'd have to go to a video store, and it was always filled with weirdos, you know? And if you've ever seen one of those like adult shops, which is such a funny name because it's not for adults, it's for grown babies, but like a porn shop. There was always one on my street where we lived in Wheat Ridge out here in Denver. And there, the parking lot was strategically placed around the back so you couldn't see who was going in, because it was everything to do with porn was associated with shadows and the darkness. But now, if you see the way the trend of OnlyFans, it's really trying to legitimize itself. It is mainstream. People are trying to prostitute themselves in a way that, feels legitimate, like it's just any other job, right? And because of that, people are being exposed early. So the average kid, especially boys, are exposed to porn, earlier and earlier. In our high noon world, the average age for people in their late 20s was like 11. Now that's trending downwards towards 9, that kind of age. And so it just becomes normalized. Things that you see often. If you walk down the street and you see violence the first time, it's so scary. And if you start to walk down the street and you see violence every single day, it just becomes normal. Same with porn. Doesn't mean that it's good. It means that your conscience is weakening because this thing is just not, it's like your body adapts to seeing this stuff. And it normalizes distortions. Like this fantasy, this ridiculous world of porn just becomes kind of normal. It becomes what you crave. And this is by no means natural. You're just being spoon-fed these ideas from our culture, from our pornified culture. And so opting out automatically, like I've had several conversations where people find out that I don't watch porn, and the first reaction that they have is, shut up, you're lying, that's not true, everybody does. Even women think this about men. And I don't know if women think this about women. I'm not a woman, despite what they say in the newspapers. I don't know what that means. But for sure, a lot of women believe that all men watch porn. And I'm sure an increasing number of women believe that all women watch porn. It's not true. This is just, it's like society wants us to believe that we're worth no more than this. And like it's a Herculean feat to not watch porn. It's totally not. It's just not a part of my life. I also, incidentally, don't ingest acid. I don't drink from the toilet. I don't do a lot of things that are harmful for me. And I put porn in the same category as eating trash. I don't eat from the dumpster. There's a reason for that. Porn is the dumpster of humanity, right? So, but when it becomes so normalized and prevalent, you start to believe in the back of your mind, it's impossible to opt out of porn. Everybody does it. Not everybody does it. And especially humanity, for God's sakes, porn is so new in terms of video form, in terms of like watching moving images on a screen in the comfort of your own home. That is so new for humanity. And so just don't buy into that, please. Please, for the love of God. So everything out here is sexualized, right? My God, there's definitely a trend in pop culture where a young lady will start out very pure, and you can do let's say Katy Perry, Britney Spears, Miley Cyrus, all these people, they start out. I remember even in church one week, they sang a Miley Cyrus song. It's about the climb. It's this really inspiring song. It's about, it's about the hard things that you do on the way to success. It's very optimistic. I don't think any church in the world sang Wrecking Ball, which is like a few albums later, where this innocent, cute girl, Miley Cyrus, who's on a TV show about family, is naked on a wrecking ball destroying things. Like, what happened? What in the world, right? But we're part of a society that shows us this repeatedly so that we get used to thinking, oh, that's just the way things are. As you get older, you turn more promiscuous. You start to act like this. Why? Repetition, 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 right? And so if you are in a hypersexualized world and you start to refuse and you start to go the other way, you will become a rebel of sorts. And that's cool. Okay. That's not only cool, that's the only way you'll stay sane. It's the way that you can be a free person, is if you make choices based on intentionality, based on character, based on your ideals, right? It's not going to be easy, definitely. There's a lot of people who nag on you. I've had so many people nag on me for going my way. And it's like, I don't tell you to do anything. Why would you tell me to do something? It's so strange. I hear this about people who don't drink alcohol. They get accused all the time from people who do drink alcohol because they say, what's wrong with you? Why don't you drink? It's like, why are you evangelizing for alcohol? I just don't drink. What's the deal? And so very similarly, I don't date. What's wrong with you? Oh, I don't watch porn. Are you insane? It's so bizarre. It's a world where everything's kind of backwards, okay? So you become a de facto rebel who's joining the alliance of sexual integrity. Those are the people who are going to inherit the world. Why? Because we can't be bought. People are bought through power, money, and sex. High Noon's not about power, money. They factor into building your High Noon self, your ideal self, your Chunnelgook self. But we're all about sex. And when you own sex, that's the foundation for, if you can really be the owner of your own sexuality, not be swayed by culture, not be swayed by stupid ideas that are shoved down our throat everywhere we go. If you can be resolute in who you are based on who you want to be, a clear vision, North Star goal, all of a sudden you will gain so much power in this world and you will be incorruptible and you will be a force to be reckoned with. Okay, where are we going here? So this is a sneaky thing. It's just like watching a little porn, and just a little porn, because a lot of people don't watch porn every day. In a High Noon world, maybe they watch it once a month, once a quarter. But it's not the point. You're still in a cycle where you have this aspect of your life that when times get tough, so for a lot of students, let's say, they don't watch porn, throughout the year until exams. And then the stress hits and it becomes unmanageable. They start to really worry about their grades. They start to worry about certain outcomes. They know they should be studying. That's when they start watching. So it's not about frequency nearly as much as why are you doing it in the first place? And when you start to opt out, like needing novelty, needing to escape yourself a little bit, but rather you face your life. You go deep with yourself. You get to know yourself. You become acquainted with yourself, intimate with yourself, like you know yourself. That's when you become so powerful. And so you build a life that you don't want to escape from. Otherwise, it's the silent erosion, little by little. Just a little. I'm just gonna watch a little porn. I'm just gonna go on Google Images a little bit.
Hey, just a quick intermission to let you know that High Noon has a program just for single people that want to prepare well for marriage. So if you happen to be one of those single people that wants to be a stellar, fantastic, amazing, marriageable man or woman, then check out the core program, which you can find at highnoon.org. It is just for single folks like you who want to get ready for marriage and be ready for marriage. So join that at highnoon.org and we will see you in the core program.
Just a little slow erosion. Why are you doing that anyways? Why are you edging? Why are you going towards it? It's like, I just want to see how close I can get to this shark covered in blood. Let's see what happens. I'll tell you what's going to happen. You get eaten by that shark. Just don't go in the shark-infested water. How about that? Stop edging. Get away. Back off, man. And when you start to rehearse, like porn is really a rehearsal for carnage. Think about this. In porn, there's zero love. Nothing is about chivalry. Nothing is about respect. Nothing is about dignity. It's all about taking, aggressive taking for self-satisfaction. And when you start to rehearse that by watching it, by exposing yourself, by relating to it emotionally, because you're making these bonds with it every time you watch it, and especially when you masturbate to it, you're forging a bond with that false reality. And that then is like opening a door to your reality. I'm listening to this crazy podcast with my kids about all sorts of time warps and all this stuff. It's really confusing. And they're going through dimensions and they're changing time and space. And that's what happens, it's like you're letting porn, which is like this fantasy, enter your reality. When it starts to hold real estate in your mind, in your consciousness, in your spirit, now you want to enact these things that you're seeing on the screen, right? Now you want to act out in ways that you never would have unless the seed had been planted and watered many, many times, thousands of times, sometimes a day, by watching these images again and again and again. So your rehearsal starts to become your reality. So also this leads to hookup culture. Hookup culture is transactional. What do you think porn is? It's transactional to the nth degree. It's absolutely just, I need a good feeling. Give me this feeling, porn, right? But when you opt out of the swipe economy, swiping for meaning, swiping for connection, swiping to escape, swiping to run away from the problems in your life, then you start to live. They're two opposite forces. Swiping is running away from life. Living is living. And so if you don't consume, you will start to live, right? So it'll help you to reorient your mind. My God. And when you start to see people as people, not as objects, not as objects of your desire, then it changes what you're looking for in relationships. And that's all hookup culture is like, I need something right now. I need gratification. Satisfy me now. They have entire apps and industries for hookup culture. That's what prostitution is, but that's what people do on these apps, these hookup apps. And the thing is, of course, it's very gratifying to have sex with your body. But if it's not connected to real, genuine, soul-to-soul, emotion, heart-to-heart, mind-to-mind connection, then it leaves you feeling lonelier a little bit by little bit until you just feel completely isolated. That's why you see like these celebrities, like, you know, the Drakes of the world or whatever, who have access to so much sex. They're having so much sex with so many people. And yet they're more miserable than just the average married person who's invested into their marriage. They've done studies on this. It's not just me ranting. Married sex in a committed, loving relationship is to the magnitude of 10, 20, 30 times better than anything that you can have, even in a situation where you have no responsibility and complete freedom to do whatever you want. Why? Because it lacks the spiritual aspect, the internal element. You'll never satisfy the hunger of the spirit by having empty, hollow sex. Hookup culture is hollow sex. Hollow sex leads to isolation. Period. Okay, so self-mastery is the real flex, guys and gals. If you want to be somebody who has a future, reclaim your sexuality. If you want to be somebody who just gratifies your most immediate desire, you're going to be a liability to yourself. You're going to have a lot of lows. I have lows. Everybody has lows, but my lows stop. My lows have a floor. Why? Because I have a spiritual practice. I have a wife. I have stability that I built and forged over. It's almost been 15 years, right? In terms of my marriage. And it's been a long road, man. There's been some dark days, but that's what it's like to build a foundation for your life. And so if you're single, every time you resist the urge to satisfy your immediate gratification at the expense of, that doesn't mean you don't have desserts. I had dessert tonight. I went out for a nice meal with my family. We had cookies. They were $3 cookies and they were divine. No guilt whatsoever because I don't eat dessert that often. I've been working out like crazy. It was a giant reward. So it doesn't mean to abstain from anything joyful. It just means that everything is on your terms. That is somebody with autonomy. That's somebody with self-mastery. That's somebody who owns themselves and owns their future. You cannot own your future if you don't own your present. And you can't own your present if your body's in control. Okay? So working on being a stronger person every single day, that's becoming your channel book self, becoming clear and clear on who that person is and practicing being that every single day until it becomes easier and easier, until it becomes second nature. This is just who I am. This is my identity. I am a channel book man or woman. So the opposite is that you just don't know. You wake up and you're like, I hope today goes well. I hope I don't screw up. I hope I don't fall into a giant pit that I dug, right? You don't want that. Nobody wants that. And it's optional. And you can build yourself into somebody who has self-mastery over time. Just keep on investing. So it's important to understand too that your mind is the battlefield. Your mind is the ground zero for all of this. because your mind interprets the feelings, right? When your body's in control and then your mind's like, I don't know, it's overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I just acquiesce to you, body. And that's when you're in big trouble, when the body's in control, because the body's like, I want. It's a spoiled little kid, okay? And so in order to reclaim your mind and become the owner of your mind, you need to stop being dominated by the algorithms. They're leading your mind astray. Doesn't mean social media is inherently bad or not to use your phone. It's to use your phone on your own terms. You can even train the algorithm. There are tutorials on Instagram on how to curate your feed so that it follows you, but most people don't do that because secretly they want to be led. That's their form of escapism. But you can train any algorithm. There are all these settings in YouTube and Instagram that will make it impossible. I remember Benji was talking back in the day. He doesn't watch YouTube anymore, as far as I know. But back in the day, you can stop YouTube from even showing you or recommending videos to you. It's just like a search engine, almost like Google. And anytime you go there, it's just because you're looking for something specific. Rather than being spoon-fed with the algorithm needs me. It needs me. That becomes your God. So you can dominate your mind by choosing how you want to use it, by directing it towards the ends that you choose. And in so doing, you will be building your future. The vortex is this place where everybody's being sucked into right now. That's what I just see it. Most people are not going to be conscious until it's really very difficult for them. I don't think that it's all over and we're all screwed or anything like that, but I do believe that there's some dark times ahead for a lot of people because they don't understand how controlled they are. Yeah. And in terms of a sexuality, think about how important your sexuality is. It connects you from the past to the present to the future. All of your ancestors are inside of you through your DNA, through sex. And you can use your sex to pass on and to become a part of the infinite binding strands of time through our DNA, through the act of sex. It connects us to God because we then become creators of life. It's the energy, from my understanding, it's the energy that created the entire universe, the physical universe. All matter came from the Big Bang as far as we know. And the Big Bang, that energy is the same energy that blasts through you when sex blasts through you. It's an unbelievably creative and powerful energy, and we squander it like it's nothing when we participate in porn. And think about people harnessing that energy and using it to build a healthy society. That is where we're headed. That is Chanoguk. But one by one, you guys all have to opt in, and it involves you creating habits, really good habits, making really great decisions, and building a lot of integrity. Practicing the high noon virtues every single day, no matter what. So if this is exciting, then please understand that you are countercultural as of now, and be proud of that. There's a guy named Gabor Mate. He wrote, he's written a bunch of books. I like a lot of what he has to say, but he did write a book called, it was about the new normal or something about normal, but he was just saying that how being normal is probably the worst thing you could be in this world because we're a part of a very dysfunctional society. So if you're normal, it probably means you're inherently dysfunctional. I don't want to be normal. I want to be happy. I don't want to be normal. I want to stay married to my wife forever. And not only that, have great sex with her until the day we die. Hopefully while we're having sex. I don't know. While we're 99 years old. I don't know. In the mountains. I don't know. That's weird. I'm just ranting at this point. But I don't want normal. I want God. I want spectacular. I want Chanoguk. And Chanoguk is not normal. Chanoguk is a place where people lift each other up, where people support each other, where there are no shadows, where we talk about difficult things together, where we go towards the darkness and we chase it away with our truth. That's what I'm seeking after. That's what High Noon seeks after every single day. If you know somebody in High Noon, in the staff, if you know a volunteer that's been helping with High Noon, give them a hug virtually or physically, just give them encouragement. That's what we're building. And if you're in a program or you're participating, you're donating, you're doing something, hug yourself. You are now part of the counterculture that is creating a pathway to the future that will create the Chanoguk that we've all been longing for, that God has been yearning for since the very day she, Heavenly Parent, created the known universe. It was for this very purpose. And sex is not only a part of it, It's at the very center of it. It's the focal point of the kingdom of heaven, because that's where love, life, and lineage starts. Hence the name of this podcast, okay? So refuse to settle, okay? Give up on settling. Just throw it in the trash. Start relating with people as people. Start treating people with dignity. Treat yourself with dignity. Treat your relationship with God with dignity. You'll start to feel more connected. And then you can start to rebuild yourself in the image of your ideal self, the man and the woman that you were destined to be. And you cannot do that while sacrificing yourself, by sacrificing your ideals, by making all these compromises. It's one or the other. So join this counterculture. That's what we're building. You're not alone. And there's already momentum. It's already being built. We just want as many people to join as possible so that this culture, this revolution can take over the world as quickly as possible to mitigate the suffering and to enhance all the good stuff. So anyway, I didn't know that I was going to rant like this, but I feel like I'm on fire right now. It's like late at night out here, but I wanted to do this podcast. It was something in me. I just wanted to press record. Well, giddy up. The real revolution starts with you, okay? Guard your mind, protect your true love in your heart, and build what lasts. Build real relationships with God, with yourself, with your brothers and sisters. And if you're married, go all in on that, man. It's the best thing in the world, okay? I hope this was helpful. I'm inspired, at least. If anything, I'm happy. I hope you're happy too, though. That's why we do this. God bless you, everybody, and I'll see you later.
Don't you think? If you want to contribute to something, if you've wanted to give back in some way, then look no further, because High Noon is your place. We're still a nonprofit, guys, and our programs and our events and workshops really run off of you. So please consider becoming a donor. Actually, no, become a donor, please, my friend, especially if you've benefited from this podcast, which is totally free, and our programs that are totally free. Then go to highnoon.org/donate, and you can become a donor for just $10 a month or $20 a month or $1,000 a month, whatever your wallet can do and whatever you want to give back and contribute. All right, become a donor, join the club, and see you.